sprint show and tell. We just want to celebrate some of the wins we've had over the past week on the DevX team, some of the things we've been working on, and just kind of get an idea of what everybody's been doing and kind of how we're living out our values. So with that in mind, let's go to our first demonstration. Tom Kaiser. Tom Hale, would you please talk about Google KMS Wallet?
Yes. Yeah. Thank goodness I have a little animated GIF to demonstrate the demo. So if you go to the next slide. So let's see what do I do here? That's the second slide.
Is that the second one again?
Yeah, it looks like that's the second one.
Did it not? Can't win. Okay, this is the first one, right?
Yeah, let's just show it here.
Cool.
So hopefully it'll loop through over and over. But so the prototype wallet that we've been working on is for Google KMS. It gives a custodial wallet functionality for anybody that is familiar with Google KMS. So Google KMS, the key management system, it allows for a couple of interesting things with the existing tools that we have in the Flow ecosystem. One, we have a multi-sig internal tool that we use that uses Google KMS, and we leverage the CLI that is already KMS aware, Google KMS aware, so GCP KMS aware, and that has been embedded into the CLI for a while now. And the next step for that is to leverage the REST service that Google has for their KMS. And so this particular wallet here is a prototype, bare bones kind of thing, and it shows a login workflow, user flow, where if we could restart that animation somehow. Okay. Then so what it is it would show up in the discovery wallet of I don't know what you call it, feature of FCL, and it would just be an option that you could choose to pick KMS. You log in, it uses OAuth, it's all front end channel, so no backend server needed. And then here it leverages a new service where it does a reverse key lookup. So it takes the public key that it gets from Google KMS, and then it calls our service. It'll get all the accounts that has signing privileges on them based on that public key. And it shows a list of the accounts, the key ID, the weights, the signing weight that it has. And then here we're using Flowport to log in the user. Now, once the user's logged in, it shows all the same stuff of balances, and you could do staking operations and all that kind of thing, which would be a future extension. And then if we go to the second slide, just to kind of show a transaction. So here it's just showing a simple flow token transfer. And here I have a little bit of a bare bones there that it would, with the newer version, it'll ask you to log in again, and then it'll give you a list of the addresses that you have signing on, and then you're able to sign and do this transaction. And so it's just kind of a proof of concept to show you can log in to Flowport, for example, and you can do transactions and sign. And since it's all front end channel, it's mobile ready. So you can just have this as a regular dApp, and then you get the benefit of mobile signing. So that's the demo.
That's very cool. Is there any plan to productize this, open source it, anything along these lines?
Yeah, it's definitely the open sourced, and just need some guidance, some product guidance and stuff in order to productize it. and make it available, just like Blockto and Ledger Wallet and all that kind of stuff. So for those that want to use it, they could, they can always fork and do whatever they want. But for the short term, I definitely want to package it up, make it a little bit more presentable, and then just see who's interested in what use cases are out there that this might help, and then go from there. And it's also the second reason of doing this is that it leverages a new reverse key lookup service. It's currently in staging. We're hardening that up. So if the difficulty of 18 million accounts that are currently on mainnet is your account, you can get your public key, but you're not really sure what other accounts that your public key is actually on. So this service gives you a quick lookup. So which is beneficial from an admin perspective. If they want to create a multi-sig, they can pick and choose the people that they know control keys and throw them on a multi-sig, and then just have more of a governance over funds or voting or whatever they want to do. So the reverse lookup service will be also used for kind of a multi-sig app that we're working on for internal use.
And I wanted to say, yeah, so like the reason that this came to be is because the Flow CLI tools do support using KMS for all these things. And the limit of not being able to use that in your app in order to test, in order to do admin functionality was just pure annoying. So it was nice to be able to build this. It's actually not that hard. I mean, Tom could say, I could say it's not that hard because I didn't have to write the code. But I'm hoping that just having more people thinking about this will give us some more use cases here, because I do know that currently a lot of developers are still either managing keys on their laptops or using Blockto wallets in order to do all this stuff. And in a world where you have multiple developers working on the same thing, it's nice to have a set of different options. So thanks for building this, Tom. And really, I really want people's ideas. So please send them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, true. We're looking for groups that would like to integrate this type of technology, and then we can kind of get together, bring great ideas together, so that we can get product development going.
What's the effort level to set this up? You just need a KMS and like a Docker container, basically?
Maybe in the long run.
Okay.
Right now, let's see, not quite ready to fork and go. I'm still working through some configuration stuff to make it a little bit easier to set up, and a Docker container would be part of that effort.
That's awesome. Mac, you had something?
Yeah, I was going to ask if this was primarily a dev tool or if it was something we were thinking about supporting for end users, but I think Tom, it's a dev tool at the moment, and then there's quite a few things that we probably need to add to make it amenable to end users. But
yeah. Just using KMS in general for an end user is not going to be great. Like you still need to like set up GCP stuff for this. So I would say it's unlikely to have that use case unless those end users are people within your organization that are taking certain actions. So say you're in the case where you have done, an NFT drop and you now have $3 million, and you want your finance team and your dev team to be able to collaborate on doing transactions. Today, you could give them all ledgers, you could have them all have Blockto wallets, and you could do multi-sigs. But another way to do that would be to have those keys be centrally managed and then kind of giving permissions to people on those. So it's, I think there's some end users here, but I think it's more about, at this stage, it's more about like inside organizations.
Right. Yeah, that's cool.
Awesome. All right. Next up, we have our own Jeffrey Doyle to talk about Flixt on mainnet, which are interaction templates.
Woo! Hello, everybody. Good morning or good afternoon. There's a lot of folks on the call, so not sure where you are in the world, but good day, I guess, to everyone. I'll be talking about Flix. What is Flix? What are interactions? What is all this stuff going on? So interactions, actually, I'll share my screen so we can go over those. I'm going to take over the screen, Justin. Cool, so we have a bit of a live demo, a bit of an explanation. Hopefully everything goes well. Yeah, so if you haven't heard about interaction templates before, effectively what interaction templates are metadata that sits around transactions and scripts on Flow. Interaction templates were defined in Flip 934, which if you haven't had a chance to read yet, you can find in the GitHub Flips repo, and you can take a read here. But effectively what that metadata that sits around transactions and scripts is things like human readable explanations of a transaction, dependency configuration information, argument information, among others. So a lot of those useful bits that application developers and wallets might want to use around transactions that they don't just have with just the Cadence code itself. So yeah, what is Flix and how does it relate to interaction templates? Well, interaction templates are these data structures, but to be useful, they have to be discoverable. So we put together an API that sits on flix.flow.com, which allows folks to query for these interaction templates and find them for the different purposes that they have. So I have a quick Postman demo of the API. So using flix.flow.com, you can query for an interaction template given its identifier. So if you know the ID of an interaction template, you can query for it like such, make a GET request to flixflow.com, v1 templates, and the template ID, and you'll get back an interaction template data structure. And so if we take a look at this one, we can see that this one is for transferring flow tokens from one account to another. And here's the Cadence code. We see the dependency configuration information. We have some dependency pins, argument information, and all the explanations for all these bits are in that flip that I previously mentioned. So we can query for an interaction template given its identifier. We can also search for an interaction template if we don't know its ID. And the way we do this is by making a post request to flix.flow.com v1 template/search. And what we pass in is a base 64 encoded Cadence transaction or script and a network identifier. And what this will do is it will try to find any interaction templates that correspond to the transaction that's encoded in base 64 there. So who would probably use this? Well, primarily it will be wallet developers who will use this endpoint. And they'll do that by, when they get a transaction to sign, they'll query for any interaction templates available for that transaction from Flix. And if there is one available in Flix, it'll be returned back to them so they can use it. So you can search for templates. You can also search for templates or get a template by a static identifier. This is a really powerful feature. So if we query flix.flow.com/v1 templates and give it a name of an interaction template, in this case, transfer flow, we can make that request and then we get back this interaction template for transferring flow tokens. So why is this important? Why is this really powerful? Well, this is a pattern that allows transaction developers to update the way in which their actions on their projects function and allow for folks that depend on those actions to query for them from a static way. So if an application developer needs to update the way in which a transaction happens in their system, anyone who depends on that transaction can always get the most up-to-date way of doing that thing by querying for it from the static ID. So yeah, really powerful feature, really excited about this one. And we can also query for any interaction template auditors available in the ecosystem using auditor discovery available on Flix. So flix.flow.com v1/auditors, pass in a network, and we can get back all of the auditor configuration information available on mainnet. So in this case, we see the auditor configuration information for Flow Team, but we're also, we just had a PR from Emerald City last week to add themselves as an auditor as well. So we'll be merging this down very shortly. So if you want to discover all the different auditors available in the ecosystem, you can use Flix for that. Yeah, so we'll do a quick demo. What is this power? Like, how does this actually work? So I'm on port.testnet.onflow.org. This is the testnet version of Flowport. And we can execute a transaction. And hopefully this works. It's a live demo. Great. Cool. So we just went and performed a transfer flow tokens transaction. And we see that we can see the Cadence script that we're going to be signing, or Cadence transaction we're going to be signing. But we also see this human readable explanation of what this transaction is doing. And we also see that it has a little blue check mark. So as an end user, we can read in English that this transaction will transfer tokens from one account to another. And we know that it's safe to run because it has been audited by a trustworthy auditor in the ecosystem. So yeah, I can go ahead and approve that transaction, and away it goes. So that's Flix. And so the thing that powered actually finding that interaction template that contained that human readable explanation was Flix. So that's how it ties into this piece. But yeah, that's Flix. Does anybody have any questions? Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Jeff. And I'm going to open it up because we actually have a little bit of time, and I had one more presentation, but he had to get on a plane. Does anybody in the community at all have any questions for any of us that you'd like to ask? Why do I have two doors that are nearly identical behind me? Like, whatever. Feel free.
So
Oh, you go ahead. Never mind.
For the question from Vive, we actually had it just go through a security audit. There are a few attack vectors, but we have taken them into consideration. Yeah.
All right.
One thing I wanted to mention, Justin, was even though Matt is not here, I'll just post the link to the new fungible token guide that he wanted to talk about. So this guide basically goes over everything you need to know about how to launch a fungible token, and goes through a lot of the decision making you need to do there and other stuff that you got to worry about. I'm sure he wanted to deliver a more in-depth presentation, but just wanted to make everyone here aware that that guide is available, and then hopefully later on we'll get Matt to speak on it, maybe in the next one.
All right, very good. All right, everybody. Well, if there's no further questions, wait, we got somebody. Luke, what you
I was
got?
just gonna jump in for the community members that are listening. This is something new. We're trying bringing you guys into this call. The team are already doing it anyway, but would love to get your feedback on what else you might want to see. Feel free to message on the Discord. You can reach out to me directly. I've done hashtag 2270, or just write in the developers channel what you'd like to see, what sort of presentations. Justin and his team are super open to your feedback. So it doesn't have to be today. You can think over it for the rest of the week or anything like that. And if you'd like to see a demo of product or something that we're working on, please tell us, and we'll start feeding that into it as well. Not to put you on the spot there, everyone on the Flow team, just giving you guys more work, but I think it could be a really good win-win situation for both sides. So I just wanted to add that on.
No, absolutely. We built some cool stuff, and so this is just kind of our opportunity to show it off, especially to each other and the community. So yeah, no, absolutely. We love the challenge. With that, I appreciate everybody's time, and yeah, we'll see you same time. This happens it's every 2 weeks around the same time on Monday. So thank you, everybody. Take care.
Thanks, Justin.
See you guys. Stop recording.